What's up, Meta Nerds? Today's video is going to be all about the D-Wing droid, a variant of the B-1, and possibly one of the least known droids in all of Star Wars history, because the only place these guys appeared were in a couple of unfinished episodes for the Clone Wars TV show. It was a part of the Bad Batch story arc, and their first appearance was specifically in an episode called A Distant Echo, and then later on another episode called On the Wings of Kiradax. You can see how unfinished all the renders are, but you can still make out how different this droid was. What's most striking about these droids is that although they look like a B-1, they have an extra pair of arms, each with built-in blasters. When they're first introduced, it looks like a very strange design indeed, but later in the episode you see that these arms can fold out, giving them wings that they can glide on. It's a pretty seamless transition, and we can see that they can go from standing to flying pretty easily. On top of this, they could shoot while in flying mode via the built-in blasters on those extra arms they had. So they definitely had more firepower and abilities than the regular B-1, but it's said that their intelligence is the same as the average B-1 clanker. And you can kind of tell just because of their slow reactions and lack of tactics. Although they did a pretty good job boxing in Anakin. But for the most part, these guys are pretty easy to take down. We see how a couple blaster bolts, a force push, a large rock, or even this guy's hunting knife, were able to take down these D-Wing droids just as easily as your average B-1. And because they come out of unfinished episodes, it's unclear the extent to which the CIS army was going to use these guys. The planet that we see them on is Skako Minor, a planet heavily enveloped in these thick clouds. It was home to the kind of primitive Poltec species, but it also housed the headquarters to the Techno-Union, obviously one of the most important members of the CIS. The Techno-Union headquarters were in these large spire cities in the sky. So perhaps these D-Wing droids were just meant to be the Techno-Union's equivalent of the Kiradax that the native Poltec used to ride around on. And these essentially flying B-1 battle droids were just a cheaper and simpler way to maintain order if any of those Poltecs got any funny ideas about overthrowing their Techno-Union overlords. It's interesting to wonder how much better the droid army could have been if it augmented it with flying battle droids as well. Imagine droidekas or super battle droids doing a lot of the heavy offensive work while you still have a ton of regular B-1s, but also these D-Wing droids up in the air, so that at the very least, even if they're not stronger than the B-1s, they would still be a huge distraction for clones and Jedi. But that's it for this video. Let me know what you thought about the D-Wing droids in the comments below. Do you think these guys were just a silly kind of impractical design, or could they have been a valuable asset to the droid army? Be sure to like and subscribe for even more Star Wars content. We got videos like this coming out every single day, so stay tuned and remember, may the Force be with you, always.